Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation. This is Nastasia Gorea and I am the mentee of Professor Laura Espinol. My research is in the sociolinguistic field of study and strives to find a connection between emotional intelligence on one side, cultural sensitivity on the other, and multilingualism as a linking factor in between. Before I state my opinion on why this research is of importance, I would like to quote Jeffrey Williams, who has said, "You never fully know a language until you understand at least two." I have never perceived languages as separate from their culture and their people, meaning that I don't think languages are only meant to help us communicate, but are also reflective of an identity and a culture as a whole. Which brings us to the Sapir-Whorf's hypothesis, which indicates the following. The language we speak greatly influences the way we see reality. Take as an example languages like Hebrew or German. Both of them have gender very present, using articles or suffixes that indicate feminine or masculine genders. So it would be hypothesized that people native in these languages would be more familiar with the concept of gender, even at an early age. Another reason why this research holds true today is because of globalism and how closely related we have become with our peers from all over the world. The main question is, how does being familiar with more languages than just your native tongue affect the way you build relationships or understand others? The method used to prove or dispute the hypothesis was a survey. UC mentioned the questionnaire, which were 13 questions targeting empathy, cultural perception, and the EQ factor, filled out by 22 multilinguals and 12 monolinguals. Paired with a facial expression recognition quiz, understanding a person's nonverbal language relates to how emotionally intelligent one is. Why this method was chosen is because it is feasible, so it could be easily sent out even in a pandemic. It is appropriate for large study groups, and therefore you can make generalizations, and it is also easy to complete, which means that more people will do it and won't see it as a hassle. Sometimes, however, people are unsure of themselves or the conductor of the survey, so there is always room for invalidity. You see depicted part of the main form. You can also see the majority of the questions followed a spectrum of 1 to 5, with 1 being nothing like me and 5 being a lot like me. Looking at the next slide, you can also see 2 pie charts that both reflect 2 interfering factors with the result, and these are called confounding variables. Some people who, for example, have studied or worked abroad or travel at least twice per year are more favorable than people who don't, and these are also factors to take in consideration when doing a survey of this kind. Next, we see the organized data from all the forms and tests, where every question was linked to a keyword target, also stating if the value was self-reported or test score, followed by a comparison between significantly different results for the same questions between the two groups. The next slide shows facial expression tests, as well as questions relating to emotional intelligence, with no significant difference between the experimental and control groups. After gathering all the results, the stats built from them suggest that the two measures significantly connected with the proficiency group are adaptation and connection, meaning that multilinguals are far more likely to both adapt in a new environment different from their own and understand people from a different culture whose language they may not necessarily understand. No significant connection was spotted between the proficiency group and their EQ factor, disputing the first half of the hypothesis and proving right the second half. Correlations between other variables were also detected, like, for example, between perception and self-control, and thoughtfulness correlates with vulnerability. Before I conclude my word, I would of course like to express my gratitude to my mentor, who has always been so willing to give new ideas and help me with existing ones. Of course, Francis, Christina, and Professor Howard, who have been so welcoming and patient, and every one of the mentors and mentees who made this experience possible. It has been a pleasure. Now I will be ready to answer any questions you may have live. Thank you for your attention and your time.